This is a direct follow-up to my previous video about why if Yamato joins, Carrot must also join the crew, as I came to a bit of a revelation while making that video, and I'm wondering if it's something that other people have talked about. I haven't seen it, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to bring this idea to light, and that is the connection between how Chopper and Robin joined and how that can directly correspond to Carrot and Yamato joining the crew. And this idea also came from a friend of mine who, while I have always kind of been of the opinion that the whole Wano to Onigashima situation was kind of reminiscent of Water 7 and Enies Lobby, kind of, and how the Straw Hats went to an island in a kind of raid fashion. A friend of mine always put Wano more in the context of Alabasta, and I saw the connections. Momonosuke is essentially Vivi, and you can very much treat the whole of the situation with Baroque works from Reverse Mountain all the way to Alabasta and take that and blow it up to Wano in general. I always just made the connection between Doflamingo and Crocodile, but you blow that up, that becomes everything from Punk Hazard all the way up into Wano. And from that perspective, that very much can correspond to how Carrot and Yamato kind of join the crew, as they are the parallels that Oda has put into the story that correspond to Chopper and Robin. And many a One Piece YouTuber talks about how Oda tends to take certain concepts and redo them, rework them, flip them on their head, subvert them, alter them, and I feel that this is no different. And you see that a lot with how Carrot corresponds to Chopper. Chopper was presented as this unknown figure that lived all the way up in the castle. People talked about Chopper as though he was this dangerous monster, but Luffy needed to go up there for help. It was a dire situation. That's altered and flipped with the characters of Zou. It's a whole race of these creatures known as dangerous animals. They're man-eaters. They're savage. And Luffy went to them not through desperation, but simply because that's where he needed to go next. And whereas Chopper is more helpful upon his initial introduction, so is Carrot. Chopper helps to bandage up all of Luffy's wounds as well as helping out Nami. Carrot helps out Luffy with the situation with Roddy and BB. One's more dire than the other, thus changing it up a little bit. And whereas Luffy immediately saw Chopper and thought food, it is the minks who feed the Straw Hats immediately upon getting to know them. Luffy sees Chopper transform and immediately wants him on his crew, and also sees Chopper's kinder side, which causes Luffy to double down on wanting Chopper on his crew. Luffy has never seen a mink transform into their Sulong state, let alone Carrot. But Luffy has taken an interest in Carrot, or at least has a sense of camaraderie with Carrot, because of Carrot's kinder nature. And whereas Chopper fought his want to go out to sea, Carrot stows away. Carrot is all on board, ready to go on an adventure. And Carrot's role on the crew as a lookout is a subversion of Chopper's role. Whereas they definitely needed a doctor, a lookout is more of a convenience to have, rather than something you desperately need. Very much like Jinbei. The Straw Hats weren't in desperate need of a helmsman, it's just a nice thing to have. But there's also the similarities between Carrot and Chopper, both loving sweets and very much getting along thick as thieves with Luffy. Both Chopper and Carrot saw someone they looked up to die in a fiery explosion. And whereas Chopper had essentially kind of killed Hero Luck, he was already dying. Much like Pedro, who had already lost a lot of his life. But Pedro's sacrifice was more along the lines of a desperate bid to get the Straw Hats out of there and escape Big Mom's territory. And whereas Luffy during the Drum Kingdom arc kept Hiriluk's flag flying on the Drum Kingdom castle. Knowing nothing about Hiriluk but still paying him respect, Luffy knew Pedro. Luffy was friends with Pedro. Even during the final battle with Kaido, Luffy remembered Pedro as someone whose sacrifice had paved the way for him to get to that point to take on Kaido. Another contrast, Chopper's abilities are more focused on power, striking. It's more overt, it's a little bit more bombastic, whereas Carrot Sulong form is a lot more speed oriented. A lot of agility, quick movements, fast strikes, strike hard, fade away. But one of the more interesting aspects is when Carrot and Chopper both met Luffy, they're both 15. 2 years ago in the story, Chopper was 15 when he met Luffy. And currently in the story, Carrot is 15 meeting Luffy for the first time. Both young kids looking to go out on an adventure. Now, the similarities between Yamato and Miss All Sunday Nico Robin. A lot of comparisons and contrast to that. Nico Robin is introduced fairly early on during the conflict and operates almost as a proud agent of Baroque Works. Yamato couldn't care less about being associated with the Beast Pirate. Nico Robin operated under Miss All Sunday willingly to hide her name. Yamato wishes to be referred to as Odin, as that is who they emulate. One presented themselves as an enemy, the other presented themselves as an ally. Nico Robin helped Luffy a multitude of times when he was desperate and in trouble, struggling, poisoned, but always operating covertly in little subtle ways. Yamato? Bombastic helps, shouting to their old man, "I'll take Kaido's head. I am no longer associated with the Beast Pirates. I am Yamato. I am Odin." Robin keeps things close to the vest. Yamato shouts from the highest rooftop. Robin immediately revealed her face. Yamato wore a mask. Robin was metaphorically shackled to her history and her nature as a demon child. Yamato was physically shackled, but desperately wanted to be free, to go out and see the world. Luffy saved Robin's life when she did no longer wish to be saved, and so she forced her way into joining the Straw Hats. Her only connection to Luffy, a vague knowledge of someone with a D in their name. Yamato's connection, an immediate want to join the Straw Hats because of a fairly close connection with a previous holder of a D in their name, but one who had a close connection to Luffy. But Yamato wasn't completely necessary to a lot of things directly in regards to Luffy. Yamato acted overtly, yet never met with any of the Straw Hats until the battle was done. Unlike Nico Robin, who was introduced to the almost entirety of the crew from the get-go. Yamato didn't save Luffy's life at any point. Yamato was a big help, and after Luffy had taken down Kaido and was asleep for a whole week, Yamato hoped for Luffy's recovery, but Yamato did not directly do anything to save Luffy's life. And yet, interestingly, Yamato did a lot of behind-the-scenes work, holding off Kaido, keeping Momonosuke safe, making sure the bombs at the bottom of Onigashima didn't blow the whole thing sky high. Robin acted in a very casual manner throughout most of the events of Alabasta. Yamato ran from place to place frantically like a chicken with their head cut off. Luffy very sparingly interacted with Nico Robin, but got to know their kinder side over time. Luffy directly interacted with Yamato, fought beside them, and immediately felt that I have to trust this person to keep Momonosuke safe. Both Nico Robin and Yamato tried to go after the main villain, Kaido and Crocodile respectively, and were unable to do the job. It was beyond them. They had to leave things to Luffy, but they were both easily people that Luffy felt he could rely on by the end of things. Kind and caring people deep down. Also fairly tall. Don't forget, Robin upon her introduction was 188 centimeters, 6'2". For a good long while, she was the tallest Straw Hat until Frankie joined. And now you have Yamato, who is 263 centimeters, 8 feet 8 inches. Very similar to Brook when he joined. But currently, with Yamato joining, they would be shorter than both Brook and Jinbei, if that's the case. But the even bigger connection is the fact that, much like Nico Robin when she joined, who was 28 at that time, how old is Yamato? 28. And the final oddly intrinsic link is also the fact that Chopper and Robin didn't meet each other, as far as I can remember, until they got on the ship, with Robin wanting to join. And as far as we've seen, it might have already happened by now, Carrot and Yamato have not met either as far as I know. But at the very least, I believe they will get to know each other once they board the Straw Hat ship. You have the unknown child from a high up place, a prodigy who was mentored to one day be greatly skilled in the future, and you have a child who, for the majority of their life, for 20 years of their life, they were called a demon, the Oni princess, unable to be who they wanted to be, with a deep knowledge of the world around them and a love of history. They had never known peace, but always secretly hoped for more, and were last told by the people that they looked up to that it wasn't wrong to be who they were. So what do you think, true believers? Do you think I might be onto something? Do you think that Oda, in his usual way, was feeding us a little bit of that mixing and matching of certain themes that he loves to play with so much? The similarities and subversions that he uses to throw us off his trail? I think there just might be a deeper connection here overall. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I want to thank you for watching this video and being a part of the cult of Carrot. We who believe that Carrot is the next Straw Hat crewmate and that the evidence is obvious, it is empirical, that Oda has laid the groundwork all at our feet, and that we only have to just realize what he is trying to tell us. I also want you to go out there and boost the hashtags Carrot for Nakama, Carrot for Straw Hat, and preach the gospel, because you know the truth of what Oda is trying to do. And if you have time, go to Twitter and give a follow to Carrot for Nakama, as this channel was inspired by their wonderful posts and blogs about the depth of the story of One Piece, with analytical evidence that goes even deeper and in more detail than I ever could. Join up and follow a fellow true believer as we all cheer on our plucky future lookout. But until the next video, I want to thank you for joining me, and I want you to stay safe, stay well, and keep on believing. Until next time.